UFC 279 main event, Diaz versus Ferguson. Obviously, it's meant to be Diaz versus Hamzat, but it didn't happen because he missed weight. Firstly, if you could like and subscribe and leave a comment. I'm just going to give you my post-fight review of the fight and what I feel could happen next for both Diaz and Ferguson. So the fight was good. A bit weird in parts. I gave the first round to Diaz. Diaz was a bit more of the aggressor, landed the cleaner shots, but Tony was hitting with the leg kicks and he was active as well. But I gave the first round to Diaz. Second round I gave to Tony. Tony was hitting some really good leg kicks. It was starting to affect Diaz with some really good shots as well. But Diaz was still firing back, so it was still in there. I gave the third round to Diaz. I believe I gave the third round to Diaz. He was just more the aggressor. There was times where he tied Tony up against the fence and the normal Diaz starts going for the body, hitting at the head, throwing multiple punches against the cage, trying to trap their opponent, and land some cleaner shots. I feel Diaz landed the cleaner shots and it was just in Tony's face. Fourth round is where the fight ended. It was even. I think Diaz started pouring it on a bit more because he was more of an aggressor. And then Tony went for a takedown and got guillotined. That's crazy because Tony is a black belt by 10th Planet. Obviously, Diaz, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And that's the thing I was thinking if he was going to fight Hamzat. Like, if he fought Hamzat, he said prior in the post-fight that he's been training his wrestling and his obviously his jiu-jitsu is top notch. So there was an upset there. It's via submission there by Nate Diaz, guillotine. That was there. The threat was there for Hamzat if that fight didn't happen, but obviously it didn't happen. So Tony tapped out to a guillotine. Madness. I'm not sure if Tony has ever tapped. I know he was in an armbar by Charles Oliveira and he didn't tap. But yeah, crazy. So you see, there's moments like this when things like this happen where someone beats the game. Ngannou beat the game, and now Nate Diaz has beat the game. Everyone was against him, and everything literally turned around in his favor. It's the MMA gods. They said, "Hey, we see what's happening here. Hamzat, boop, you're gonna miss weight. Tony, boop, you're gonna fight Nate, and you're gonna get guillotined. See ya." And then Diaz won. It's crazy. So Diaz now has got the leverage in his favor. He's got everything in his favor: the leverage, the win money, the show money. He's got everything. So congratulations to Diaz. That was a great fight. There was some weird instances in it where Diaz was on the fence, holding his knees. There's even a point where he was shaking his head. I thought they were going to stop the fight. I was like, what's going to happen there? But they didn't stop the fight, so it was good. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens from there. So what's next? Diaz said he's going to go into boxing, basically. We think that sounds like Jake Paul to me. He sounds like he's going to go and fight Jake Paul and probably some other top-level boxers, potentially. He sounds like he's going to go into boxing, so we'll see. And if he does, the thing is, he's coming off a positive. He's coming off a win. He just beat Tony. He just beat the system. And he's going to be demanding a lot of money. If he would have lost his fight and then went into boxing, wouldn't have been a good look. But as he won, the MMA gods granted him all of this. They gave him this great path to victory, and to obviously he didn't face Hamzat. It's awesome. As for Tony is now, I believe, on a 4 or 5 losing streak. I know he lost to Justin Gaethje, then Charles Oliveira, then Beneil, got knocked out by Chandler, and then lost to Diaz. So that's a 5-fight win streak. I'm not going to say he should retire because obviously he switched opponents on the same day. He would have to train for someone with a bit of a longer reach, a bit taller opponent. Obviously, he wasn't training for that. He was training for Jingliang. Sorry, my bad. Jingliang. He was training for him, so he wasn't training for Nate. I wouldn't say people are going to be saying obviously Tony's washed up, blah blah blah. He's not washed up. Tony's not washed up. It was a change of fight on the same night. Okay, 2 days prior he had to fight Diaz, then the original opponent. So yeah, I wouldn't say that. And he was looking good in the fight. It was a competitive fight. It was It was a bit of a weird fight, but it was a competitive fight. So no, I don't think Tony's done. Tony should continue. We'll see what happens in his next fight. Then see what happens. But that's it for me. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, follow me on Instagram below. Take care.